is a Thai initiative to encourage young and aspiring entrepreneurs from Kerala. Roshan Kainedi is a Thai charter member. He is the Capital Café in charge and managing director of Kainedi Plantations. Mr. Kainedi will now present Capital Café 2020.
Thank you, Tangam Joseph. Uh, Greetings from Thai Kerala. Good evening to all. Uh, Capital Cafe was a project initiated by Thai Kerala 3 years back. And if you see the Thai Kerala logo, Thai Kerala fostering entrepreneurship. Below that, we have a tagline which says, an entrepreneur in every home. So that is a vision that all of us collectively carry. Unfortunately, Kerala is a state which is famous for its labor pains. Labor pains experienced not in the conventional manner, but the labor pains experienced by entrepreneurs and industrialists. And that has sort of kept outside investors, outside industrialists away from Kerala. So we at Thai Kerala, we thought the best way to overcome that was to create more entrepreneurs here. And that is the reason why we are repeatedly using this tagline, an entrepreneur in every home. So with that objective only, in fact, we as a group, we have collectively set a target for ourselves to achieve, to fund a certain number of startups in the next few years. With that objective only, we started Capital Cafe. Before Capital Cafe, right from 2012, the year TiCon started, we started organizing TiCon during the time of John Paul, the former president. That was the year we started TiCon. And every year we used to have something called Pitch Fest, wherein investors used to be there on one side. On the other side, we had young entrepreneur startups. But unfortunately, nothing much was happening. So we thought that it needs our involvement more. It is not just, nothing can happen if it just becomes a platform. There has to be a certain amount of hand-holding to help these young entrepreneurs. So with that objective only, we created Capital Cafe. In fact, 3 years back. And again, thanks to past President Rajesh Nair, who coined the name Capital Cafe. The name Capital Cafe, in fact, capital is the biggest, one of the biggest. We at Thai Kerala believe that one of the biggest challenges faced by young entrepreneurs and startup promoters is raising capital. So that is the reason why we named this event Capital Cafe, a place where young entrepreneurs and startup promoters can come to for raising capital. So last 3 years, the first 2 years we associated with Startup Mission, Kerala Startup Mission. They've been extending a lot of support to us. And this year, in fact, to 2020, we decided to add Kerala Agriculture University, the agribusiness incubator in Kerala Agriculture University, then the technology business incubator at NIT Calicut, and again, TiMed, an incubator based in Trivandrum, focused on medtech and healthcare. So these three organizations also joined us this year. And one thing that we came to understand in the last few years is that, see, most of these, Kerala Startup Mission has got incubation centers across the state. So all these partners have incubation centers. But one thing they lack was the connect with entrepreneurs, basically to mentor these startups and also guide them. And also the second challenge these incubation centers faced was the lack of connect with investors. So that is where we came in to support them. So this partnership actually became a win-win model that would help both of us. We at Thai Kerala had a target to achieve a certain number of startups in a timeline. And these organizations also worked on a target. and it transformed into a mutually win-win partnership. So this year, in fact, over the years, the number of applications that we were receiving were increasing. And this year, we received close to 400 applications spread across Kerala, right from, in fact, the first year it was only in Cochin. The initial round was conducted only in Cochin. The second year, which was last year, 2019, we conducted 5 regional pitch fests in Kozhikode, Trichy, Cochin, Kottayam, and Trivandrum. And this year, in fact, the entire event, as all of you would know, went online. So, so we received, in fact, more applications. We received close to 400 applications, and from these, we had, in fact, one of the help that we received from the partners was in shortlisting applications. Like NIT was curating all the applications received in technology space. Kerala Agriculture University ABI was curating all the applications received in the agri space. Like that, we could bring in experts in the respective fields, and we could shortlist the best startups from close to 400. We shortlisted about 30 startups, and some of the startups are actually in for their second round of funding. They had already got funding last year, and like Brainwired and Tutti Frutti, they were all the Bambari, they were all funded last year, and so they are actually in for a second round. So this is the long, in fact, a list of almost 30 numbers. Entire list is here. So these were the startups which were shortlisted. But after shortlisting, in fact, what we found last year was that it is not just that they are ready to go in front of investors. They needed a lot of handholding. They needed support in terms of in terms of pitching. Many other areas they needed support. So all that we provided. And investors also, we had a fairly long list this year. In fact, all the major groups, Ankur Capital, Indian Angel Network, Chennai Angel Network, all the big names were very much there. And these are actually the startups which are currently initiating discussions for investment with, on at various stages of discussion. And these are the investors who have shortlisted startups for funding. But again, the due diligence process, the discussions are all on. We are hopeful that last year, in fact, 2019, we could fund only 4 startups. This year, we are looking at a bigger number. We are sure that we would achieve that. And again, one of the biggest thing about Capital Cafe is that it is actually the same team that has been running Capital Cafe for the last 3 years. And all of us, a part of the team, are very, very passionate about this. All of us find time uh, when an emergency arises within the team, or anything to do with Capital Cafe. That has always been the success of the team. So thank you very much, everyone. In fact, this year we are hopeful that we'll be able to fund more startups, and we will continue working with more enthusiasm, hoping to see more startups getting funded over the coming years. Thank you very much.